Hello everyone, Charles Watts here. It is Tuesday. I hope everyone is well and having a good start to the week. We've got a really packed video today. Lots to talk about. Transfer season kicking off at the moment with Arsenal. It's been a busy 24 hours with developments. We've got Jurrien Timber exploding onto the scene after that late night story from David Ornstein last night, which we will discuss. Kai Havertz, second bid has gone in for him. Arsenal very hopeful of getting that one done pretty soon. Declan Rice. Apparently another bid is going to go in today, according to John Cross of the Mirror, which we will discuss. Arsenal's second bid, they've been preparing it for a while. As I was saying yesterday, the talks between West Ham have been continuing to try and get to a number which Arsenal think will potentially get the deal done, and John believes that official bid will go in today, so that could all kick off. Brilliant night for Bukayo Saka yesterday. What a player, what a talent he is, what a hat-trick for England. So we'll discuss a little bit about Bukayo Saka and what Gareth Southgate had to say, and of course we'll get to your questions at the end, 3 of them selected from all the comments that you left on yesterday's video, so thank you very much for that. Okay, let's start with Jurrien Timber, shall we? 22-year-old Dutchman. Arsenal have made an offer for. Now, we knew they were going to target a sort of right-sided central defender type player who can play in those two positions, and we were waiting to see who it was, and David Ornstein getting the scoop last night that it's Timber that they have moved for. First bid has been rejected by Ajax. It is believed to be around 30 million. Ajax said to be wanting around 50, so still a fairly big gap there in terms of the valuation between the two clubs. Timber wants to go, didn't move last summer, was close to going to United, or there's lots of stories about him going to United. It didn't happen. He stayed with Ajax for a season, but the expectation is he will be moving on, and talks continuing between Arsenal and Ajax for him. Now, I can't pretend to be too much of an expert on Timber. He looks like a very good player. He's got that versatility that Mikel Arteta loves in his defenders. He can, he's a centre-back, can play right-back, can play midfield as well if need be. Very comfortable on the ball, which we all know is really important for Mikel Arteta when he selects his defenders. You kind of look at how the defence is being built, and you've got the two mainstays in the central area, in Gabriel and Saliba, but then everyone around them can basically give or take, can play in different positions. Maybe Kieran Tierney you'd look at the moment being just a natural old school left back, but everyone else, Zinchenko, Ben White, Tomiyasu, Timber, if he signs, they can play in a multitude of positions across the backline or even in midfield, and that is so important to Arteta in the way he wants his team and his defence to play. Timber's got a couple of years left on his contract. He was speaking earlier about potentially leaving. This is what he had to say about his future. He said, "There's a lot of concrete interest and I have made agreements with Ajax. Last year, Ajax asked me to stay for at least one more season and to extend my contract. As a club boy, I did that with love, and after the season, we reviewed the situation. At the Dutch national team, I often talk to boys who play football abroad. I want to take that step someday." So he's keen on a move. Arsenal and Ajax in talks about that move. There is a hope that it could end in a successful conclusion, but when you're this far apart at the moment, valuation, obviously a lot can happen. Now, Arsenal and Ajax were very much locked in talks over Lisandro Martinez last season. Ajax didn't back down in terms of their valuation for Martinez. Arsenal didn't want to go as high as Ajax wanted, so they moved on. United got him. Arsenal went and got Zinchenko instead for a cheaper price. So, there's a lot still to go when it comes to this transfer story. Whether Arsenal end up signing Timber, you have to wait. We're going to have to wait and see how all those talks progress and whether both sides can reach a compromise. They weren't able to do that last summer when it came to Martinez. Hopefully, from Arsenal's point of view, they will be able to do that this summer, and they get a player on board who fits the age profile. He's only 22. He ticks a lot of boxes when it comes to Arsenal and the transfers that they're looking to do. So, big developments on that. Credit to David Ornstein, of course, the great David Ornstein, for that fantastic story he broke last night on Timber. Kai Havertz. Now, these talks have been going on for a while with Chelsea. The first bid was rejected. The second bid has gone in. Not entirely sure on what that price. I've seen different reports on it. I saw Fabrizio was saying about 65 million euros. I saw Sammy, the Mail, was saying 55 million. I'm not sure on the exact price myself, but it's going to be in and around that sort of ball mark of 55, 60 million pounds. That's what Chelsea are looking for. Well, Chelsea are looking for 75 million pounds, but Arsenal are never going to pay that. So it's going to have to come to a compromise between those clubs. There is a belief that one is the sort of furthest along of every deal that Arsenal are pursuing at the moment, and it could be one that is done relatively quickly now the international break is over. I've said it in previous videos, it's one that has caused a lot of debate amongst Arsenal fans. Some people love the idea, some people hate the idea. I've got my reservations that I've said, but I'm absolutely happy to give my sort of trust to Mikel and Edu in terms of where they believe Havertz is going to fit in and how he would slot into this system that they use, where he would play. I don't think any of us really know yet what Arsenal sort of see for Havertz when it comes to bringing him in, and whether it will be the number 9 or the immediate backup to Gabriel Jesus, or whether it will be more of a sort of backup to Bukayo Saka on the right, where he's played a lot of good football, or whether it be in that sort of Granit Xhaka left number 8 role. We'll have to wait and see, but it appears that one is moving on and could happen soon, as it seems to be developments happening with Declan Rice. We've been waiting for that second bid to go in. John Cross at the Mirror saying that bid is going to go in today of around £90 million. Whether that's enough to convince West Ham, I'm not sure. It doesn't sound enough to me, considering what West Ham are pretty adamant that they want for their captain. I would figure that this one, the second bid, would have been closer to around sort of 100 million with add-ons, if you see what I mean. So maybe a flat 90 million transfer fee with add-ons taking it up to around the £100 million mark. Doesn't seem, according to John's report, that that's going to be the case. It's more about 90 million with including the add-ons. Is that going to be enough to tempt West Ham? I'm not sure. So we'll have to see how that develops. But Arsenal pushing forward to try and get those ones done. More stories about Lavia. So busy time, transfer season. We know it is. And anything more that I can get on that, I will bring to you in videos down the line, and hopefully there's going to be a lot of progress made, because we're not that far away from pre-season now. It is fast approaching. Mikel Arteta very, very keen to get some of his key targets on board before pre-season. It was so successful last year, getting everyone done pretty much early. I think Zinchenko was the last major signing, or the last signing last summer, and that happened during the tour of USA, and he flew out, linked up with them, played the final game of the tour. And that just, the momentum Arsenal got from having such a good pre-season, for getting the new signings in early, for everyone gelling, that they took that into the start of last season, and that's what Mikel wants to do again this season. And then busy moving. I know there's a lot of frustration at the moment. It was only about a week ago, everyone's saying, why aren't we doing anything? Why aren't we doing anything? And now you look, there's bids going in for players all over the place, and hopefully some of those, if not all of them, can get resolved quickly, and Arsenal's squad can be there. Mikel Arteta can get to work with it on the first day when they return for pre-season, and then they can take that momentum, really build on it during the summer, during the pre-season games, and take that in to the new season. One player who looks like he's absolutely flying at the moment is Bukayo Saka. What a hat-trick that was last night for Saka, playing for England in that game against North Macedonia. 7-0. England won that match. Bukayo Saka scoring the hat-trick, the star of the show. A fantastic hat-trick as well. The first goal becoming a little bit of a thing for Bukayo Saka now. That sort of right-footed finish high into the top corner at the near post, sort of catching goalkeepers out, really. He did it last year at Leeds. He did it in the game against Everton. I think there was one that he did it in that was ruled out for offside. Exactly the same sort of goal. I can't remember what that game was, but it was ruled out for offside. He did it again last night to get his first goal of the 3. His second goal was just a thing of absolute beauty. The touch, the half volley, the power he got in it from the angle into the top corner. An absolutely sensational goal from a player playing at the top of his game. And then the third goal was really good composure, going through, good pace, and then kept his head, slotted it past the goalkeeper for a truly brilliant hat-trick. His first hat-trick of his senior career. First Arsenal player to score a hat-trick for England since Theo Walcott did it in that game against Croatia way back in, 2006? I think that was 2005 even. I can't even remember the date of it, but it was a long, long time ago. So a really special night for Bukayo Saka. He spoke about it afterwards, said how special it was. Gareth Southgate was talking about him. He was asked if Saka's at an elite level yet, which I think found of course he is. I don't think there's even any debate about that, is there? I think he's the best right winger in the world, in my opinion. But he was asked about that, and he said, yes, I think he's there. When he broke into the team at Arsenal, what struck us was that in the team that were having a difficult time, he was performing at a really high level. Then when the team were playing well, he was still a key player and performing at a really high level. So that says a lot about his mentality, the ability to deal with pressure, and that's the environment that we're in all the time. He's exceptional to work with. And yeah, I mean, Saka's just been a sensation since breaking into that first team. Like Southgate said, he came in a team that was struggling. Basically, him and Smith Rowe carried it on their shoulders for a while. Those were the two players that really raised the level and gave Arsenal something to sort of hope about, dream about. And then when Arsenal improved and when the better players came in and when the squad started playing really, really well, Saka again was up at that level. And I think it just says such a lot about him. He's done so much. He's taken so much on his shoulders. Everything he's had to deal with England, the penalty miss at Euro 2020 in the final, the way he came back from that, the way he became this huge leader in this Arsenal team. And he's doing it, at the World Cup level. He's doing it whenever he pulls on a shirt for England. He's just a sensational player. Just absolutely top-level, generational talent. And, yeah, I just love watching what he's doing, how humble he is, and the way he just performs. No matter what you put in front of him, what game, what level, what team he's playing for, whether it be England, whether it be Arsenal, he just takes everything in his stride and does things so well. And just fantastic. Southgate did talk about an injury he's had as well, which is a little bit of a worry. He said it's an Achilles problem. He said he's had it for a few weeks and it's an injury that just needs managing, but it would have been very easy for him not to appear. I think when you then have probably one of the best nights of your life, it's a reminder to everybody that it's worth going through these things. To see the joy in his face, he's such a popular member of the team, so humble, works incredibly hard, and of course talented. He's been finishing like that all week. So yeah, it was an outstanding performance. I like the way that he says it's an injury that just needs managing. And yet he started him in both games for England. It's brilliant. Cheers, Gareth. That you managed that then, didn't you? Injury needs managing, yet you started him in both games against Malta and North Macedonia. Paid off for him because he's obviously scored a hat-trick, but still, not sure Mikel Arteta wondered what he would have thought when he saw those comments and then saw that Saka started both games for England. But that's England duty. You can't really get involved if you're Arsenal, unfortunately. You just got to hope that they come back fit. And look, he did look okay yesterday. He certainly didn't look half-paced the way he finished those goals. So thank you, Gareth, for that. Hopefully your management has not left any lasting injury on Bukayo and he'll be fine for pre-season. Anything you've agreed with so far in this video, please do let me know. Anything on the transfers and Bukayo Saka, let me know in the comments below, of course. And now we are going to get to your comments. 3 of them I have selected today, so let's get started. First up, Neil Harry Jones, who says, I don't agree with you about Balogun, Charles. Nketiah is clearly never going to be a top-notch striker, but Balogun might be. Remember Andy Cole was an Arsenal player. He scored a shed loads of goals for Newcastle and then went to United and the rest is history. Jesus does not score enough goals and Arsenal need a striker who can, plus he can play wide, so give Saka a rest. Balogun could save Arsenal 120 million in the transfer market. That could be used to beef up midfield. I don't know what you don't agree with me about then, Neil. I'm not sure because I don't want Arsenal to sell Balogun. I've never said I wanted Arsenal to sell Balogun. Ideally, I'd want Arsenal to keep Balogun 100%. So I'm not sure what you don't agree with me about. What I was saying in yesterday's video is that unfortunately, because of Balogun's contract situation and the fact that at the moment he is not indicating that he would be willing to sign a new contract, that I think that Arsenal are going to kind of be forced to sell. Otherwise, he's going to end up leaving on a free. So, that's not me saying I want Arsenal to sell him. Absolutely not. I want him to stay. I'd love him to stay. He looks such a talent. It'd be great to see him get a chance in the first team. But sometimes you have to make difficult decisions at a club and sell players when a lot of the time you don't really want to. And it just feels like this summer might be that occasion with Balogun because of his ambition, because of his determination to want to play every single game and start every single game. He can't really get that. You can't be guaranteed that at Arsenal. And I know you say he scored more goals than Jesus. I'm not sure that's definitely true. Balogun scored a lot of goals, but he scored them in the French league. Whether he'd score that sort of rate in the Premier League feels doubtful to me. And Jesus, although he had a bit of a barren patch before he got injured last season, you've got to remember when he came back, he still scored 6 goals in those couple of months that he was back at the end of last season. He finished with 11 for the season, so it wasn't a terrible record by any means when he missed 3 months. So I'm not sure on that, but I think you must have misinterpreted what I was saying there, Neil, because I don't want Balogun to go. I want him to stay. I absolutely want him to stay. I just think because of his contract that Arsenal might have to kind of be forced into taking the money now and potentially, getting some sort of buyback option on him to protect themselves a little bit. But thanks for your comment and your question anyway. 16 Sprake says, hey Charles, what do you think of the new season's kits? Honestly, I don't like them. The away kit's an abomination. I hate it with an absolute passion. It hasn't come out yet, obviously, but it is just horrific. The home kit, I don't mind. I don't like the collar very much. I don't think it's a beauty by any means. I hate the fact that the Invincibles, sort of the win draw thing, embroidery on the side. I hate that's only in the £110 kit. I think that's a rip-off if you ask me. I don't mind the kit. That, it's not awful, but it's not one of my favourites. And like I said, I don't like the collar. I think it looks a bit cheap, and I really hate the fact that embroidered bit isn't on the kit that, isn't £110. And the green kit, I don't mind. It's obviously based on a bit of a cult classic. That's fine, but for a third kit, so I don't mind that one. But on the whole, I think it's a poor selection from Adidas. It's definitely not one of their best, because they've had very few misses so far since they came back to Arsenal. But I think this season, for me, they're not the best. So thanks very much for that, 16th break. And let's go to Chuck Soyem, who says, Charles, do you think Jurrien Timber would be a great signing for Arsenal? As I said earlier on when I was talking about the story that David broke last night, I'm not an expert on him. I haven't seen loads of Timber. I've obviously been catching up on him since David's story broke, and I'm going to try and find out even more over the next couple of days. But do I think he'd be a good signing? I think, based on the brief stuff that I've seen, I think he looks like he'd fit the system very, very well. He ticks all the boxes that Arsenal look for in signings. Like I said, he's versatile. He can play across the back line. He can play especially at centre-back or right-back on the right side, which is what Arteta really wants. It's his priority this summer. He can play in midfield as well if needs be. Very good on the ball. His passing stats are good, so he's comfortable in possession, which is key. So when I sort of factor all that into it, I think he'd be a good signing. But like I said, I haven't seen enough of him. I haven't seen him week in, week out to be able to say for definitively he'd be brilliant. I'm going to have to, like most of you guys, I guess, really sort of catch up on him until we see him in an Arsenal shirt as well. We never know how players are going to adapt to the Premier League and to a new way of playing in a new country. But on paper, from the brief stuff that I know about him, I think he looks like he'd be a very smart piece of business for Arsenal. Yes. So thank you for your question as well. That's it from me. Thank you for watching, everyone. Please do come back tomorrow. Hoping to have a guest on the show tomorrow to talk about plenty of Arsenal transfer stuff. We'll go over what's been going on, and hopefully, you never know, things might have really moved forward in the next 24 hours as well. So keep your eyes peeled for that tomorrow. But until then, have a very good day, everyone. If you, like me, are now going to sit down, watch the Ashes once the rain clears in Edgbaston on the edge of your seat. I hope you enjoy it, and hopefully we get a thrilling England victory. Have a great day, everyone. I'll speak to you soon.